書いてくれた。
What is poetry to you?
When I was growing up, poetry was very much something that you read alone in a book and thought about, and obviously many poems throughout history are very intense and emotional and talk about national events or battles or sacrifice or love. But I think now that's all changed, and poetry is really becoming like a dynamic performing art.
詩はその表現とかその感情を入れてその会話する。
読み取り方は人それぞれだけど、でもその中にその作った人の思いが込められてて、
言葉になしで思いっきりあーっていう叫ぶような感じで自分の思いを伝えられる。
一人一人の個性が出てくるものだから自分を知ってもらえて。
Poetry can link with others.
It'll make you feel like refreshed and better about yourself.
Poetry for young people is a way for them to explore their identity.
Which is extraordinary when you think about the power. I mean, a pair of jeans don't last that long. You know, what else has the power to last a lifetime?
Before I became ambassador to Japan, I had worked in the New York City public schools for 10 years. And one of the most moving parts of that experience was to see kids from different backgrounds get to know each other by sharing poetry and speaking to each other. And I thought that coming to a different culture like Japan, that would be a wonderful experiment to try to see if kids from the US and students from Japan might be able to bridge some of their differences or learn about each other through sharing their own writings. So I thought we could try that here, and we started with Tokyo and New York. And I had learned about Korean poetry a little bit doing some of my research for my books. So we added Korea, and then I had a special relationship with a school in Okinawa that I had visited early on in my ambassadorship, and I thought the kids down there were incredibly talented.
The Japanese students and the Korean students felt a little more they were following a form. And felt a little more traditional. The American students are figuring out how to write more formal poems, which I think they sometimes need. And I think they benefited from, oh, I have to choose my words a little more wisely. I have to take my time with this. For the Japanese and Korean students, it gave them a chance to say, oh, I can sort of break out of this form a little bit and try out a more loose style.
Differences, I see they're more conservative, more quiet, very respectful. Not to say that we aren't, but they care about what you think, and I like that.
韓国ではなんか自聴というなんか詩みたいなのがあって、その表現がうまく使えてたと思います。
I can learn a lot from their Japanese and American poems, especially it has how they think and how they feel about the problems the youth has.
We met American friends 2 days ago, and we read the American students' poems. I think they are more artistic.
外国の子は感情をすごい心から言葉に出して強調している。すごい刺激を受けるような詩でした。
最初はその朗読する側の表現力が磨かれる場かなと思ってたんですけど、やってみますと実は聞き手の聞く力とか、あと相手を受け止めるで、人それぞれ違った魅力を持ってる、個性を持ってるっていうことを理解して、それぞれ違う他者を認めるというような、そういうところがすごく生徒の中に芽生えてきてるかななんて思います。
やっぱりその子がどんな子かっていう自分らしさを表現すると判定が上がるんですね。で4年生とか詩のボクシング始めた頃はやっぱり受けを狙って面白おかしい詩が試合に勝ったりするんですけど、だんだんやっぱり回数続けていくと内面が出てきて、その内面を感じ取れる方がやっぱり試合の中で有利になったりして、やっぱり試合そのもののレベルも上がっていくかなと思っています。
I think what is happening with these kids is amazing. To be 15 years old and be able to travel halfway around the world to listen to different languages, to meet young people who do and don't have things in common with you, what could be better? Many of them will be changed forever. They will be reoriented forever, and they will always know that the world is not just their block.
Well, I think for diplomacy, poetry and the spoken word is a great asset because it allows people to speak to the heart. Kids to be able to connect and get to know, make friends with students their age in other countries is, I think everyone had a great time, and the point of this was to have fun. One of the poetry kids came and he left me this note which said, "Hello, Kennedy. It was like a dream for me in this half year. Happy time passed in no time. I was able to get confidence through this poetry slam." I think that really was, for me, a great reward in terms of kind of giving that kind of confidence that comes with being able to live in the world and be excited about meeting other people.